Welcome to Wawazan Wire. Political language always gives us something to think about, doesn't it? And recently, the Deputy President of Parti Islam Si Malaysia, Datuk Seri Mohammad Ammar Abdullah, he threw out a pretty bold statement.
Oh, yes. What was that?
He mentioned that Parti Islam Si Malaysia only needs, get this, 10% to 15% of the Chinese Malaysian vote.
Okay.
And with that, they could potentially form the federal government in the next general election.
Right. 10 to 15%.
Yeah.
Well, that's a very specific number.
It really is. When I first heard it, it made me think it's like saying you just need one specific tiny gear to turn in a massive machine and the whole thing changes direction.
Oh.
It sounds less about broad appeal and more like, well, a very calculated, almost surgical political move.
That's a good way to put it. It's certainly not just a throwaway comment. It points towards Parti Islam Si Malaysia's deeper calculations, their predictions, about the future political map. If you really dig into it, that percentage, small as it sounds, likely represents a very precise analysis of voter segments and where they see potential openings.
So what do you think, then, this 10 to 15%? Is it actually achievable for Parti Islam Si Malaysia, or is it more, aspirational? What are the real hurdles?
Well, it's definitely ambitious, no doubt about that. But the strategy behind it seems to be quite focused.
Focused how?
The idea isn't necessarily to win over, say, half the non-Muslim voters. It's more about securing that critical minority support.
Right.
And then combining that with their very solid base among Malay voters. The aim is to build a coalition just strong enough to take power. It's a kind of strategic calculation, really, playing the numbers in our multi-party system.
Okay. And Mohammad Ammar also stressed that Parti Islam Si Malaysia needs to strengthen this PAS for all idea, specifically to win over Chinese Malaysians. But that seems to clash, doesn't it, with how many people actually see the party?
It absolutely does clash with common perceptions.
Yeah.
And that's precisely the point, I think. This is a very clear signal that they're trying to reshape their image.
How so?
Mohammad Ammar himself brought it up. He argued that for years, the Democratic Action Party has, well, in his words, successfully made the Chinese community afraid of Parti Islam Si Malaysia.
Afraid of what specifically?
The typical concerns you hear, worries about things like restrictions on alcohol, maybe dress codes, even pork sales, potentially being banned if they came to federal power.
Those are common narratives.
Exactly. And he argues this fear pushes Chinese Malaysian voters towards Pakatan Harapan, not because they love them necessarily, but as a sort of lesser of two evils choice when compared to Perikatan Nasional and Parti Islam Si Malaysia.
So, given those deep-seated fears, how are they actually trying to counter that narrative? It feels like a huge obstacle.
Well, their main approach seems to be this sample state concept.
Sample state?
Yeah. Mohammad Ammar pointed to the 4 states they currently govern: Kelantan, Terengganu, Kedah, and Perlis. He basically said, look at these states. Non-Muslims can check for themselves how we govern based on Islamic principles.
And what's the message they want people to take away from that?
He claims that non-Muslims aren't suppressed in those states. He specifically mentioned, for instance, that Chinese businesses can still sell pork openly there. No restrictions.
Okay.
So it's a deliberate attempt to showcase what they call their inclusivity and, try to calm those fears by pointing to lived reality as they see it.
But do you think that works? I mean, comparing those states to, say, the Klang Valley or Penang, the demographics are quite different, aren't they?
That's the core challenge, absolutely. Whether pointing to Kelantan effectively persuades someone in Kuala Lumpur is, well, it's a big question mark. The effectiveness is definitely debatable.
Shifting gears slightly, Mohammad Ammar also talked about the current political climate, the economy, and he even predicted Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim might dissolve parliament next year.
Yes. Synchronizing the general election with state elections in Johor, Perak, and Malacca.
Exactly. What's the strategy there? Is it just reading the tea leaves or something more?
It reflects, I think, their assessment of the current government's perceived stability, or perhaps instability. And it's also about spotting potential advantages.
Like what?
Holding federal and state polls together can really change the dynamics,
Yeah.
Voter mood, turnout. It could create a single wave that benefits certain parties.
And potentially harms others.
Precisely. So from Parti Islam Si Malaysia's viewpoint, aligning the elections might look like a good chance to regain public trust or at least test the water strongly. Timing is often key in politics.
Yeah. And when he spoke about other parties, Wow, he didn't hold back, did he?
No, the language was very direct.
Calling the United Malay's national organization UMNO beggars waiting for Pakatan Harapan's scraps,
Yeah.
and saying only the UMNO youth chief, Dr. Akmal Salah, was acting like a hero. That's pretty strong stuff.
It's classic political rhetoric, isn't it? You try to diminish your rivals to make yourself look better.
How does that work exactly?
By painting UMNO as dependent, as reliant on others, and maybe highlighting just one individual's actions, he's attempting to chip away at their traditional standing, especially within the Malay community.
And he was sharp about Pakatan Harapan, too.
Oh, absolutely. His argument was that Pakatan Harapan disappointed people really quickly, just within 3 years. He even claimed that Chinese Malaysians who never criticized Anwar Ibrahim before are now quite unhappy.
Now, is that actually reflecting widespread public feeling, or is it more like amplifying existing discontent for political gain?
It's definitely aimed at tapping into frustrations, no doubt, especially among voters who are feeling disillusioned right now.
So the comparison.
Right, contrasting UMNO taking 60 years to be rejected versus Pakatan Harapan facing disappointment in just 3. It's designed to position Part Islam Si Malaysia as, the more stable, more trustworthy alternative. They're trying to capitalize on that narrative of disappointment.
He also made a point of highlighting Party Islam Si Malaysia's own journey, didn't he?
Yes, the growth story.
From winning just 1 seat way back in 1955 to getting 43 seats last time, becoming the biggest single party in parliament. He framed it as proof that nothing is impossible.
And that's a narrative with a clear purpose. Internally, it's about boosting morale, reminding members and supporters of how far they've come, and keeping that vision of federal power alive.
And externally?
Externally, it sends a message. Don't underestimate us. We're a growing force, and this goal of governing the country isn't just a pipe dream. It's something we genuinely believe is within reach. It's part of building momentum and legitimacy.
So to make that happen, beyond the rhetoric and aiming for that 10–15%, what are they actually doing on the ground? Any concrete steps?
Well, yes. For instance, the Party Islam Si Malaysia Johor State Commissioner Abdullah Hussein mentioned negotiations happening with their Perikatan national partners.
That's Bersatu, the Malaysian United Indigenous Party, and Jerican, the Malaysian People's Movement Party.
Correct.
Yeah.
They're working on seat allocations for the next state elections, trying to coordinate to maximize Perikatan National's chances. That shows internal planning.
Okay, that makes sense. Anything else?
They've also got this thing called the Party Islam Si Malaysia Supporters Congress Hall. And interestingly, they're organizing tours.
Tours.
Yes, tours for non-Muslim groups to visit Kelantan. The idea is to let them see firsthand, what life is like for non-Muslims under Party Islam Si Malaysia rule there.
Trying to dispel myths directly.
Exactly. It's a very hands-on effort to address those concerns we talked about earlier, build some trust, maybe win some converts, or at least neutralize some opposition. These are tangible actions aimed at shifting perceptions.
Okay, so when we piece all this together, Mohammad Ammar's bold statement, the strategies like PAS for all and the sample states, their focus on history and growth and these ground-level actions. What does it all mean for Malaysia's political future? Are we looking at a genuinely shifting landscape, maybe more competitive, or is this mostly, pre-election positioning?
That really is the million-dollar question, isn't it? It forces us to ask. In this constantly changing political scene, how effectively can parties actually adapt their strategies to reach new groups of voters? And maybe more importantly, can these kinds of strategies truly change minds, shift those deeply ingrained perceptions people have? For anyone watching Malaysian politics, I think the key is to really look closely at these statements and actions. What's the real intention behind them, and what are the potential impacts, down the road can translate into actual votes?
Lots to think about there. Thank you for tuning in. Remember to like and subscribe for more videos like this.